What's good? What's good, everybody? This is the last time I'm going to try it because the sound has been screwing up. But we're going to recap last night's debate. I'll be right back.
See, the game is lame and absurd, but you spit. You need to sit back and observe a certified pimp. So oh, yes, he is. I mean, that boy does the shit. He's a mess, he is. Fresh to death. Ain't nobody fresh as he is. They can't compare. Won't get next to him because he's so fly. I mean, the boy's so clean. From his white tee home down to those jeans. You see the ice in the pinky.
All right. So by now, I'm sure all of you have seen the debate or you heard about the debate, and it was a doozy. Papaw versus Convict 45. Man, let me tell you, I knew it was going to be crazy. It wasn't as exciting as it normally gets when you got somebody like Donald Trump on stage, but God damn it. All night long, he was telling lie after lie after lie, and Papaw was just slow as fuck, forgetting what he was trying to say, losing his train of thought. Typical old man shit. It was sad. It was a sad thing to watch on both parts. Anyway, let's get into it. So anyway, by now, it is in the history books, obviously. Last night's debate was a loser for everybody involved. Let me tell you something, people. We are in trouble. Donald Trump was his old typical self, telling lie after lie after lie. And Joe Biden was his typical self, stumbling, couldn't remember shit. And it was just a fiasco all night long. The moderators didn't fact check anything or anyone. They just let both of them pretty much say or try to say whatever it is that came to mind, or in Joe Biden's case, didn't come to mind. Now, don't get me wrong. I personally support blue. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, anything is going to be better than Donald Trump getting back into office. I mean, this clown, oh my God. This dude literally said some things that really got my goat. You know what I mean? Let's talk about, let's talk about some of the things that I really hated Donald Trump for saying. All right, so first, Donald Trump said that he enacted veterans' choice. Okay, I'm a veteran. Spent close to 10 years in the Navy, active duty and reserve. Been out for a long time, obviously, but I am under VA healthcare because I've had some issues. And one of the things that was very important to veterans was being able to go to a civilian doctor when the VA facilities were too far away. So Veterans Choice was enacted in 2014 by President Barack Obama. I don't understand how so many people believe that Donald Trump did that. He knows he didn't do that. He continuously takes credit for something that former President Obama got done for us veterans. I actually had a veteran tell me not too long ago that, well, Donald Trump, got us Veterans Choice. And I had to show this motherfucker, no, he did not. That was a Barack Obama accomplishment. Say what you want about Obama, whether you like him or you hate him, he got some things done for us veterans. He really looked out for us. The next thing was the fact that he called veterans suckers and losers. And last night he said, oh, that was a lie. It wasn't a lie. One of his own generals, his closest general at the time, corroborated the story when they were in France at Normandy visiting a veteran cemetery that he did not want to be at because he thought veterans were suckers and losers. And he still thinks that. He hasn't served not a single day. In fact, Donald Trump is a draft dodging coward. I never, ever, ever follow somebody like that. His bone spurs kept him from going and serving time when he was called for duty, and he did everything he could to get his ass out of serving. Now, mind you, he said he had a medical condition, bone spurs. Many of you may not know what bone spurs are. It's a foot condition, causes a lot of pain for those that have it. But mind you, Donald Trump was right out of high school. He was a high school athlete, so they tell us. But he had bone spurs and couldn't serve in the military when he was called to duty. Nah, Donald, we ain't buying it. You're a coward, you're a liar, and you got no business being commander-in-chief. Which goes to say, a convicted felon can't join the military. But here we are with the possibility of having a 34 times convicted felon lead the military, a convicted felon as commander-in-chief, but he can't serve as an enlisted member or an officer because of his felony convictions. Think about that. Think long and hard about that. There's something wrong with our system. Another thing he said last night that really got my goat was in regards to immigration. He said, one, the big lie was that all the immigrants coming into the country are terrorists and criminals and rapists and thieves and all gang members. And no, they're not. No, they're not. Actually, a very small percentage of immigrants, illegal or otherwise, are criminals. Because contrary to popular belief, Border Patrol captures, detains, and deports over I believe it was 2.4 million immigrants. 2.8 made it in, under asylum and illegal crossings. And and I know it's not politically correct on the blue side to say illegal crossings, but they're illegal. If they don't come through a designated port of entry, then they're crossing the border illegally. And I'm all for, if you come here the wrong way, you need to be sent back from whence you came. You know what I'm saying? Come through a port of entry and make your claim. That's all I'm saying. I got nothing against immigrants whatsoever because this country was built on illegal immigration. You think the Pilgrims were asked to come here? They didn't check in with customs when they got here. They just came in and started claiming land. There were people already here. Think about that. The country was built on illegal immigration. Yes, we got to do something about the borders and controlling who and how many people come in, because obviously we don't have the infrastructure to support unlimited numbers of people coming across the border. However, if we follow what the conservative side of the house wants to do, we wouldn't have anybody come into this country. Nobody. And some of the biggest advancements that we get to enjoy today were made possible because of immigration. And I want you to look this stuff up. Think about it. Smartphones, particularly this first smartphone, the iPhone, was created and implemented by an immigrant. Did you know that? Did you know that Steve Jobs was a Palestinian immigrant? Bet you didn't know that, did you? Look it up. He also said, Donald Trump, in his demented mind, said that they are coming here and they're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs. What the fuck is a black job? What the fuck is a Hispanic job? Explain that to me. All you conservatives out there, all you Republicans, all you MAGA Republicans, please explain to me what the hell a black job is. What the hell is a Hispanic job? And Donald Trump talks a lot of shit about Hispanic immigrants. But let me tell you something. I live here in South Florida, not too far from where Donald Trump lives and not too far from his golf courses. One in Palm Beach and then one down in Miami at Doral. And guess who works there in mass numbers? A lot of undocumented immigrants, mostly from South and Central America. That's who works there. Donald Trump himself thrives and makes a lot of money off the backs of immigrants, documented and undocumented. And he has for many, many years. Another thing he talks about is law and order. Remember back in the 80s, the Central Park Five? 5 young black teenagers who were accused of attacking and raping a young white girl in Central Park, New York. Went to prison. Spent a lot of years in prison. Until finally they were found to be completely innocent of the crime. But during this time back in the 80s, Donald Trump was calling for the execution of these 5 young men. And after they were exonerated, Donald Trump refused to apologize. In fact, he said they shouldn't have been let out of prison, regardless of their exoneration. Basically saying they may not have been guilty of that, but they were guilty of something. But this is the guy that half the country wants to be the president. I really don't understand it. I really don't. And let's get back to the veteran thing. This asswipe. Remember before John McCain passed away? Remember the petty bullshit he used to pull with John McCain? I forget exactly what port the USS John McCain was pulled into, but Donald Trump happened to be in the same city, and he wanted them to cover up the name of the USS John McCain because he had personal beef with John McCain because John McCain was not falling for his bullshit. John McCain refused to kiss the ring. When he was running for office the first time and they asked him about heroes, and they mentioned John McCain, who was a Vietnam War a fighter pilot who got shot down and served, I believe it was close to 5 years at the Hanoi Hilton. This was one of the most notorious North Vietnamese prison camps. And John McCain was there as a prisoner of war, and he came back with major physical damage and possibly a lot of mental damage as well. I think it would have a very, very distinct effect on somebody's mental after being imprisoned under the brutal conditions of the Hanoi Hilton. And what made Jill hero to us as veterans was the fact that he was given the opportunity to be released from prison. All he had to do was make a statement denouncing the United States and the military action that the United States was taking in Vietnam. And he said, no, I will stay here and I won't go home until all of my men go home. All of my brothers go home. And he stayed in that prison until the war was over and North Vietnam released most of the prisoners that we know of. I know they didn't release all of them. And my father served in Vietnam. My uncle served in Vietnam and almost died. They were both almost killed in Vietnam. My grandfather was killed in World War II. So we have a long history of serving this country. Whether you like it or not, this is our country. We got nowhere else to go. If you're born here, you should have pride in this country, regardless of all the problems and issues that we may or may not have. One thing we do have here is opportunity. And I can tell you that for a fact because I've been around this great wide world. I've been to a lot of different countries. And there's no place I'd rather be than right here in America because we do have opportunity to grow and achieve our wildest dreams. It's not easy. Absolutely not. It's not easy. And we don't always have a fair leg to stand on. But we still have the opportunity to chase our dreams and achieve greatness. And many of us have. Many of us in the African American, no, let me correct myself, in the Black American community have. Don't call me African American. I'm not African. I am American. It has nothing to do with me hating myself for being black or anything like that. I'm proud to be a black man. I'm proud to be an American. Yes, I am. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that the country that I was born and raised in stays to become the best that we can become. So Donald Trump doesn't like veterans. One of the quotes from him back then when he was running in 2016 was, I like heroes that haven't been shot down. All of our brothers and sisters in uniform that gave the ultimate sacrifice in Donald Trump's eyes were suckers and losers. He said that shit. He said that shit. That's why I can't understand veterans that support him, because he has absolute disdain for the uniform, for the people that make it possible for his ass to exist and do what he does. I was speaking to some Trump supporters at a rally here in Fort Pierce because, as you know, the documents case against him is being held here in Fort Pierce. And his judge, Judge Cannon, is doing everything she can to keep him from being prosecuted in this case. I think she's going to throw the case out. I could be wrong, but it's looking like she might just throw it out altogether. Because she's definitely in Donald Trump's hip pocket. The Supreme Court is in Donald Trump's hip pocket. And it's a damn shame because the Supreme Court is not supposed to take any political sides. They're supposed to be unbiased. Congress is supposed to be unbiased. But they got this stupid setup in Congress now where you need a super majority to get anything done. That's not how the founders set it up. They set it up so that there would be a 50-50 split if that so happened, if the votes fell that way, and the vice president would be the tie-breaking vote on all matters. But I can't even tell you exactly when they came up with this super majority bullshit and the filibuster bullshit and the things that are in effect now makes it possible for the minority to rule and not the majority. We no longer live in a democracy, y'all. We are fast, quickly, at light speed moving into a fascist, authoritarian state. And Donald Trump, if he's reelected, will be the last president elected in this country unless something drastic happens. He will be America's first dictator. And the whole world is going to change at that moment. I want you people to think about it. But unfortunately, like I said, half the country supports this clown. Half of the country supports this clown. I don't know if they're just crazy or if they're just stupid. It's one or the other. Because nobody with good common sense would support somebody like Donald Trump. And it really hurts me, especially when I see Black and Latinos supporting Donald Trump. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I am telling you, yo, in my opinion, you are crazy or stupid for supporting Donald J. Trump. I don't understand how you can even justify your support for him. Your pockets weren't fatter when he was in office. You didn't get any tax breaks unless you were in the top 5% of the income earners in this country. Us common folk didn't get a single tax break when Donald Trump was in office. Not a one. You didn't make any more money when he was in office. If you were making more money then, and then you're saying that you're not making as much money now, that's because you did something wrong. You weren't minding your fucking business like you should have. It's up to you. You make the choices and you make the decisions for your life. And you probably made some bad choices and decisions that got you into the financial predicament that you're in now. Or something happened to you like me, where you had some serious medical issues. You follow what I'm saying? That prevented you from continuing to grow and move forward. But guess what? Even with my medical issues, I'm all right. I'm still here, still growing, still moving forward. So yes, no, I'm not supporting Donald Trump in any way. I got absolutely nothing good to say for this man. This man lied all night last night. All night. Now, let's get to Joe Biden, because Papaw didn't do well at all either. Joe Biden needs to step aside. It's too late now in the race, I believe, to insert somebody in his place. So, unfortunately, we're just going to get what we get. But the Democratic Party and their stupidity is what got us here with Joe Biden. And listen, Joe Biden got a lot of stuff accomplished. He got the infrastructure bill passed. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of things done that they said couldn't get done. He got a lot of things done that Donald Trump claimed he was going to do. On the immigration thing, he was ready to sign the bill that the Republicans wanted, that was conservative leaning, the bill that they presented. And Donald Trump told the Speaker of the House, don't bring it to the floor for a vote. Do not pass that bill because it will hurt Donald Trump if they passed an immigration bill. So they flipped on their own bill. So you want to talk about why the border's out of control? It's not Joe Biden's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault, because he told the Republicans not to bring it to a vote. He told the Republicans not to pass the bill that would have fixed most of the border problems. How is it that you supporters of Donald Trump and the Republican Party don't understand that? Why is it, are you so much of a sycophant that it doesn't really matter what they do? You're just going to support them regardless? Because they talk the game about this, that, or the other, and then they turn right around and sabotage the solutions. So why is it that you support something like that or someone like that? Marjorie Taylor Greene, why is she in Congress? How is she still in Congress? How has she not been ejected from the House of Representatives yet? Thank God for young ladies like Jasmine Crockett, who calls the Republicans out for their bullshit on a daily basis. I know a lot of times it's falling on deaf ears because the Republicans are in control of the House, but she calls them out on their bullshit regularly. I love that lady. She is on point. She's highly intelligent, but she's dangerous to the Republican Party. She's dangerous to the right-wing side of the House. But understand this, y'all, because I'm no sycophant for either side. I understand the fact that a bird can't fly with one wing. So whether it's right wing or left wing, it's still the same damn bird. But we do have a few people, Republican and Democrat, that really are trying to do something good for the people and for the country. Unfortunately, we got a lot of lunatics that are in the right positions to make sure that nothing gets done. Do you realize that this Congress has been the most unproductive Congress in the history of our government? The most unproductive. They've only passed 1% of the legislation that's been presented to them. They've spent their entire session trying to impeach government officials, trying to reverse established law, some of which they were successful at. They're turning the clock back to the 1800s. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn this country into a handmaiden's tale. Y'all better open your eyes real quick because we are in trouble. We are in trouble. Politics works from the bottom up, y'all. Get involved at the local level. Get involved at the state level. I'm here in South Florida. We got some problems in Florida with Ron DeSantis and his cronies up there in Tallahassee. But the rest of the country, wherever you're at, man, get involved. Don't sit there and think that your vote doesn't count. Because if your vote really didn't count, the Republicans wouldn't be working so hard to keep you from voting, and the Democrats wouldn't be working so hard to get your vote. Think about that. And no matter who you like in November, this time I don't think it's going to matter. Well, no, I'm not going to lie. It is going to matter. Because you may not like Joe Biden because he's old. You may not like him for some of his past policies, which, in my opinion, he's redeemed himself on a lot of things. But he is too damn old and he needs to step aside. But he's still a better choice than Donald Trump. That's my rant for today. This isn't a regular show, but I had to come on and talk about what we saw last night because it was real crazy. It was really crazy. And the next one's probably going to be even crazier if they have a next debate. I heard they're talking about it. It's in the planning stages. If it goes down, I'm going to watch that. Hopefully you will too. But let's see what happens, man. But in November, participate. Vote the entire ballot from the bottom up. There are a lot of people that need to be out of work. Probably 90% of our politicians need to be out of work. But more importantly, you need to participate. We got to do everything we can to keep this country on the right track. I'm your man's Ken Jackson. This has been the Ken Jackson Experience. I will see you Sunday. I think we're going to do Sunday 9 p.m. I think that's the schedule we're going to keep. All right? So join me right here at crazybabytvworld.com, on YouTube as well at Crazy Baby TV World. I'm sorry, the website's crazybabytvworld.com, and Crazy Baby TV World here on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Follow me on social media. Log in, comment, send me your opinions. Oops, sorry about that. I transitioned too early. But Sunday, 9 p.m., we're going to talk about it. Phones are going to be live. So come in, join the conversation. Let's talk about what's going on. I'm your man's Ken Jackson. Peace.